Hey guys, Amy here with your fabulous February swag. So this month we did a tutorial on, or actually we did a design on some marbling with the So Jelly colors and introducing our new metallic inks. So I guess your card is going to be upside down right now, but let's go over everything that was in your swag bag this month. I've missed you guys for the past couple months. So we've had some influencers doing our swags for us just for a little bit of something different. I love to see how people come up with different things. So anyway, I was just showing you the two So Jellies. So these are the transparent gel polishes. These are a 60-second cure. We're going to use the white and the sea glass. Sea glass has got to be one of my favorites. The white also is fantastic for, oh, looks like I got a little bit of the sea glass on my brush. But the white is also great if you're doing like those milk bath nails. It's beautiful. So also a mix of the Northern Lights glitters. These are different size and it really transparent and gives all different colors. So they look great under any of the So Jellies because they shine so nice. And I was looking for something a little chunky this month. And last, our filigree clovers. So these are very thin metal pieces that we're going to bend and shape to the nail. They're actually great to use in the salon because they lay so flat, they leave no texture, and you can embed them into your gel, acrylic, whatever. Oh, and our nail ink. So this is the new metallic inks. There is silver, gold, rose gold, and dark rose gold. You guys received the dark rose gold for this month's design, and make sure there's little bullion beads in there, so just make sure you shake this up really good before every single use. The metallic pigment will settle at the bottom, so you want to make sure that it's kind of floating around in there when you go to use it. So this was the design that we did on our lovely model. I'm telling you, I love this girl. She never complains. So we're going to do just a couple designs and I'll show you guys how we did the marbling. There's so many techniques out there for marbling, and doing it with your So Jellies is great because it gives the design so much depth. I am going to use clear tips for this. I know in the salon you are not always dealing with a clear nail, but you'll get the same result. Basically, you will still get the depth of everything. It's just not going to be as crystal clear. All right, so to get started, I'm just going to grab a little piece of my disposable palette, and that way I can wipe my brushes before putting them back into the bottle. And we're just going to pick up some of the So Jelly and just kind of randomly paint it down the nail. My brush is a little stained from doing the design before, but that's okay. So we're going to grab some of the sea glass now, and I'm just kind of butting it right up against it and giving it a little wiggle, wipe my brush, put it back in, and go back in. You want to be careful not to overdo it because the colors will kind of blend together and you won't see much swirling or marbling. So just keep the colors pretty separated, butt them up against each other. You can kind of run them through each other. Also, you can see I've got a little bit of pooling up around the cuticle area on this tip. So these tips are really humpy back there, so it's a little bit different, obviously, than on a nail that you're doing in the salon. But I recommend keeping the nail at an angle, so if it's going to self-level, it's going to self-level down. You're picking up a little bit more gel polish than you would if you were just painting a thin coat of gel polish on. So keep that in mind and make sure it's angled down, so if it runs down the nail and you can kind of use your finger or your brush to clean it. I'm working pretty flat because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing, so that's why we're having a little bit of product run back into the cuticle area. So we went ahead and put this in for a cure, and you don't have to worry if you're not curing a full 60 seconds in between all these layers. You can kind of do 20-30 seconds and that should be just fine. because at the very end we're going to do a full 60-second cure, and because this So Jelly is transparent, it's going to make sure that all your layers are cured evenly. So we're back out of the light and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do another coat, and just remember, if you're doing more green on top of the green, it's going to get darker. If you're doing green over the white, it's going to kind of fade the white a little bit. So just kind of play with it until you get the look that you're looking for. I just started my second coat with just a full coat of the green to give it some depth in that white. And now we're going back in with a little bit of the white So Jelly. And I kind of want it to self-level a little bit before I get into the light. And that's perfect. We're going to let it sit for a second, self-level, add a little bit more swirl in there. And see, there's really no wrong or right way. And I'm just kind of letting it self-level down the nail, like I said, so you can keep all that extra flowing gel polish out of the cuticle. Just take your finger or, like I said, a brush and clean the sidewalls if you feel that it's adding a little bit of weight onto the sidewalls of your nail. And now we're going to cure that. So now we're out of the light. You can see it self-leveled good. There's a little bit of uneven on your surface structure, but that's fine. We're going to work that out with our top coat. And so no need to worry about that if you're seeing anything uneven. So now we're going to grab our ink, give it a good shake up. That way we're getting all of those shimmery pigments. And also in your swag, we included this brush. I know it looks very random, but this is my go-to brush when I'm doing inks because it's flat on the top and I can kind of stipple with it and it doesn't end up erasing all of my ink and creating lines. So I like to use it straight up and down. That way it gives the ink a little bit of texture. And we're going to be using acetone, not alcohol, to move our ink. For most of your inks, you're doing this over a matte top coat. For your metallic inks, you don't want to because it'll grab all the shimmer in the matte top coat and kind of hold it. This we're using right over the tacky layer of the gel polish. And I'm going in again with acetone, not alcohol. And I'm just kind of patting it and giving it the shape that I want, erasing it in areas, leaving a little shimmer. I'm going to show you a different technique on the second one where we're going to give it more of like a veining. This is more just kind of, I guess you would say, just kind of splattered on the nail. So it just gives you random spots of shimmery beautifulness. And it's starting to come together. I'm just going to play with the tip area a little bit, clean up a little bit on the side there. Perfect. And I want this to be completely dry before I put my top coat on. So we're going to just set this down for a second and make sure that ink is dry so that when we put our top on, it doesn't pull. I am going to, while that's drying, is take out some of the clovers and get those bent and ready to put in. So these are great because you can use them as gold or you can use them as rose gold. So either way, it's not going to matter. It's just the look that you're going for. And of course, we're going with the rose gold theme. I am going to use this brush to bend them. This is a great, nice, skinny barrel. So it's going to allow us to go skinnier on the for the tip of the nail, and then you're not going to want to bend as much back towards the cuticle area because it's just a wider bend. So just depending on where you're placing your clovers, you want to just make sure that they're going to have the right bend to them. And I just put a tiny bit of gel on this flat brush just to easily pick them up off the table. And I'm just going to place it on my finger and just roll. And perfect. Now it's going to fit the surface of the nail perfectly and it's going to lay nice and flat. So I'm going to open that one up just a smidge because I think the bigger one I'm planning on putting a little bit further up. So You can have these pre-bent if you've got time in the salon. Just take a whole bunch of them and just start rolling, and that way they're ready for you to use. I know time is always an issue in the salon, but these, again, you definitely want to bend them so that they lay flat and they don't catch. And I know a lot of my clients don't like a lot of texture on their nail, so they work for everybody because they stay nice and flat. So basically we're taking our top coat, just polish the entire nail. Even though you're not putting the filigrees on the entire nail, we still want to cover the whole nail. And I had a little dip there, so you can see I just kind of applied a little bit more product there and let it self-level out. So at the end, my structure is nice and good. Cleaning up those side walls. And again, just a little bit of gel on that brush just picks up your piece so easily. And you're just going to place it down, and it's almost going to soak right into that top coat. So once you do that, you go right into the light and cure. Again, we are going to top coat a second time, so if you don't cure for the full 60 seconds, it's okay. So now this is out of the light. You can see that there is very, very little texture on the top. So another coat of top coat and that will be perfect. So we're going to go in with our second coat of top. And you can see I just put a little dollop right over that clover just to smooth out anything, or if there's any, again, any texture on there. I want it to be nice and smooth and encased in the top coat. So you can see the depth this nail has. It's just absolutely beautiful, and it's just so easy. There's no extra products. I love to use gel melt when I'm marbling with colors, but when you use gel melt with the jellies, it blends them too much. So they marble perfectly on their own. They don't need any additional products. All right, here she is right out of the light. And you can see no texture if we turn it to the side. And so that's what makes these filigree shapes so wearable. All right, we'll put that down and let's do another one. All right, while that's curing, we are going to put some of the Northern Lights glitter mix in this next one. So we are out of the light, and I'm just, again, dampening the brush with a little bit of gel so it picks up the glitter really easy. I don't want to overdo it because I don't want to put too much gel on top of these, although I guess it doesn't matter because it's going on top anyway. So I'm just sporadically placing some of the glitters, getting some of the larger chunks in there. And I don't want to overdo it because I don't want it to kind of take away from the marble design. So this is good. And now we're going to go in with the So Jelly and put a coat on top. Okay, so once that's ready to go, we're going to go in and swirl some more jelly on top of our glitter. Okay, so this is out of the light now, and you can see the glitters underneath the So Jelly, just sparkling perfectly. And now we're going to take some of our ink. And we're just going to, this one we're going to do more of like a thin veining. So I'm going to use the brush a little flatter, not so straight up and down. And just kind of wipe out and let it start to create a nice thin vein line. Again, just using acetone. And the very tip of that brush, kind of the corner of it, will give you a really nice fine line. Gorgeous. And now we'll do down below here too. And the corner of the brush ends up picking up a little bit of the pigment, which is great. So it kind of gives it that unevenness that you need. This nail is totally giving me beach vibes right now. It almost looks like the wave nails. This would be a great technique for that also, using more of a deeper blue along with the sea glass and the white. You could hide some fish and some like metal starfish underneath the So Jelly. Ooh, I feel like a summer swag is coming. So once you're sure that ink is set and nice and dry, go ahead and top coat and cure. Okay, well that one is curing. Let's do one last design, and we're going to follow the same steps with our So Jelly, kind of layering it on, marbleizing it against each other. And then go ahead and cure that first coat. All right, so this was our second design, just came out of the light, and it just looks beautiful. So we'll put that down and finish that third one. I'll get some good pics at the end. Okay, while that first coat is curing, I'm just going to get some of these clovers, and we're going to just go ahead and bend a few of them, and we'll do a trail down the center of the nail. Okay, so that first coat is out of the light. We're going to go in with a second coat and do the same thing, and then go ahead and cure again. You'll notice if you have any little air bubbles, just because you're using the gel polish so wet and so much, just grab like a liner brush and just work those little air bubbles out. Okay, so once that comes out of the light, we're going to go in with the glitter again. I'm going to go a little heavier this time. And this is just sticking to the tacky layer of the So Jelly. And then we will add another layer of marbleizing on top. Go ahead and cure that for about 20 seconds. And we're going to follow the same steps, putting our top coat on and adding our clovers. And next we're going to take our ink and we're going to go right in between our clovers. Just kind of draw it in there. And then we will move the ink again with acetone. And last, once that ink is set and dry, we're going to put a top coat on and cure that. And now, since this is our final cure, make sure you're doing that for the full 60 seconds. Okay, so here's the 3 nails we created today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next month.